Hello, folks. How's it going? It's your favorite realtor, Evantz Saint-Gerard with Keller Williams Realty Landmark. I have a special guest today. I want to thank Steve for doing this. This is Steve Booke from TourFactory. Steve, say hi to the folks.
Hi, folks.
Very modest guy. Steve, tell them what you do for a living. How do we meet?
I am a real estate photographer. So essentially, all day long, I'm going to people's houses and photographing their houses. And I also uh, do floor plans and aerial photography. So that's essentially takes up most of my time.
All right, great. So after the people hire us basically to list their house, put their house on the market, one of the first steps that we do is basically we get all the information about the house, all the details that we need, and then we book an appointment with Steve to do the photography. So Steve, we made the phone call, we called you, we're booking the appointment. How soon can we get the appointment?
As soon as possible.
Okay,
I
great.
try to uh, get you in the first available opening I have in my schedule.
All right, great. So when we have the appointment set, we're going to the house. Generally, I like to get there a few minutes early just to help move stuff around. What's the first thing you do when you get out of your car, you're getting your equipment? What's the first thing that you're normally doing?
I like to shoot the exteriors first, the front of the house and the back of the house. Yeah, so that's kind of my workflow.
All right. So when you're at the front of the house, what's your recommendations to the sellers?
Okay, recommendation is before the photographer gets there, remove the cars from the driveway.
Okay.
Um, and also, if there's anything in the front of the house that might need fixing, like a simple fix, like a shutter that needs a nail or just something, take care of all that before the photographer gets there. Um, and if you want to spruce it up with some flowers, that works. But honestly, sometimes it doesn't even show up as dramatically in the photography as you might think. But any little bit helps. If it makes you feel better to have your house look as good as possible, then do whatever you can to accomplish that.
All right. So now that we got the front, we're working our way to the backyard. Same situation. If there's clutter, kids' toys, stuff for the animals that are outside, what do you suggest?
Yeah, just put that stuff away. If you can, go to a dollar store or Home Depot and buy one of those big plastic bins and just put all the stuff in the bin. Before the photographer gets there, just to get everything out of the way. A lot of the time, in the summer months, people always ask me, should I have the umbrellas of the tables open or closed? And I'm always suggesting to have them closed, simply because when you have them open, a lot of the time with the photography, the open umbrella will block part of the house.
Okay.
It might look nicer, but in reality, when it's closed, you have, a smaller space that it's not really going to be blocking anything in the house.
You're talking about the umbrella on the table outside in the
Yeah.
backyard.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
Gotcha. So basically
And if you and
with that closed, you can
yeah,
actually see everything else.
yes, exactly. And also, if you have a pool, and most people have pools, that's the centerpiece of the backyard. Make sure that the cleaning mechanisms are out of the pool, because
Okay.
I would have to say at least 50 to 70% of the time there's that cleaning vacuum in the pool when I get there, or inflatables in the pool still. So just try to remove all of that stuff before the photographer gets there.
All right. So same thing with the jacuzzi, basically. If there's anything in there, take it out or just cover it.
Exactly.
All
Yeah.
right. So now that we worked the backyard, we did the driveway, the hose basically is coiled up and put to the side. Trash cans are moved to the side as well. You're doing the driveway, you did the front of the house, you did the back of the house. Now you're working your way inside the house. Walk us through your next steps.
Okay, so I like to photograph the house in the order that I post the photos. So I post the photos and I feel like a logical walkthrough sense. Like I wouldn't post the master bathroom as the first photo. Even if you spent $20,000 fixing it up, I still will post the living room photo first. So I usually go living room, dining room, kitchen, and then go to the den, then any bathroom downstairs. Then I head upstairs, do the second floor, and or third, and then do the attic if there is an attic, and then finally go to the basement. And that's
Okay.
kind of the order that I like to post the photos in.
All right. So we're in the foyer or the hallway to the living room, dining room, whichever one it is. Walk us through. Obviously, if you see, you have an eye for certain things, so you probably know what looks better where. Like maybe the couch might be moved to the left, to the right, or something like that. What do you make suggestions to the listing agent or to the homeowner who's there?
Yeah, so generally, if I'm doing a shot, like if you have a fireplace, the fireplace is usually the centerpiece of the living room. So I would aim for that. Anything in its way, I usually get rid of. If there's a chair blocking that, or if you don't have a fireplace and there's a chair blocking another room, I usually get rid of that. The other thing I usually get rid of, and you know this from experience working with me, is like
Yeah.
pillows. Like white, any color pillow basically, unless you have like a black house with black pillows. That's the only thing that's not really going to be distracting. See, the purpose when you see a photo is to look at the photo as a whole and not have any one thing in the photo jump out. And pillows in a living room on a couch are the things that will jump out. Also, flowers. Everyone loves putting flowers in the living room, but a lot of the time they'll put them right in the way of the part of the house that you're selling. You're not selling
It's
the
a little too
flowers.
distracting. You want the focus to be the whole room, not just a centerpiece.
Yes, everything at one time. And if you put something in there for as a decoration, the decoration ends up taking over the photo.
Okay. So we did the living room. We took your suggestions. We moved stuff out, and then we moved the stuff back in after we're done. We're moving to the next room. Let's say it's the dining room. Same situation. There's a centerpiece. There's chairs. There's stuff on the table. We remove as much stuff as possible. Make it look as clean as possible. And same advice that you have for the living room. We do the same thing for the dining room.
Right.
Now with the lighting, basically in both rooms, what do we do with that? What do you suggest?
Okay, so above all, you want natural light. So if possible, open up the blinds. I like the blinds, like the levers open, maybe not up all the way where it's just full open, but just like twist them open if possible. If not, if you have a very nice view, maybe you want to pull them all the way up. But if it's a situation where it's a wooded area or if it's very overcast outside, you still want that natural light. But if you need the assistance of lighting inside, number one best thing are hi-hats. The number one best thing in the hi-hats are white LEDs.
Okay.
Yellow lights seem to pose an issue that a lot of people don't think of, is that they create a color cast, meaning that a yellow light will throw a yellow color against a wall. So no matter what color your wall is, if you have a red wall or a white wall, it's now going to be mixing it with, yeah. And you know what? And I've experienced this a few times where when I'm editing the photo, I have a process where I can eliminate that extra light that's not supposed to be there and bring it back to the natural color it's supposed to be. And I've gotten agents telling me that the seller wasn't happy because it didn't look like their room or their cabinets, because they're so used to seeing it with the color cast on it and not the actual color. I'm like, well, this is actually the color of the cabinet. You have a white cabinet. It's not tinted yellow. So, and another issue, talking about the lighting of the room, is those table lamps usually do more harm than good. I mean, if it's really dark out and you need it, I use it as like a little extra push of lighting besides the flash I have on my camera and the internal components of the camera to enhance the lighting. But usually a table lamp will create a color cast and also a hot spot. So when I'm trying to get the lighting even and natural looking for the room, any source of light that's either a window or a lamp is going to be much brighter than everywhere else. And when you look at the photo, once again, you're not going to see like an even look. You're going to see hot spots. So that's why, if at all possible, I try not to use like a lamp, floor lamp or a desk lamp, but if I have to, I have to.
All right. So we're moving from those rooms. We're going to my favorite space, the kitchen. Now, the kitchen is one of the big selling pieces when it comes to homes, the kitchen and the bathrooms. Um, we always recommend with the sellers to make sure that the kitchen is spotless. It has to be like a five-star restaurant. Make it as clean as possible. Make your kitchen look something like this. Any clutter, like these two guys here, you can get rid of them. Move everything off of the counters. What other recommendations would you give for the kitchen and the bathrooms?
Okay, so what I first and foremost, get rid of any products, any commercial products. And it's not because we can't photograph commercial products. It's because commercial products are things that you use and go through and throw out. And it just doesn't look good to have, like, you know, a box of Cheerios on the counter.
You mean products like
or
this?
What? Yes, exactly. Yeah. Or anything in a box. It just, anything that's not going to be for sale, we want to get rid of,
Okay.
if possible. If it's not possible, I know there's situations where it's just not possible. The reason why you're moving in the first place is because the space is too small and you have no room to put anything. I totally get that. So if you have to, neaten up or find something creative to kind of cover it that doesn't look, you don't want to just throw a towel on top of it. So
Yeah,
get something
that's
nice.
never the answer.
Right. Just get something nice to cover it, if at all possible. Let's say you just spent, 20 grand fixing up your kitchen. You don't want to have, like, your old blender on it and your old toaster. Like, get rid of it. Show off, like,
The whole
marble,
kitchen.
and show off the backsplash and everything.
All right.
I have to say, like, at least once a week when I'm shooting a house, I'll have a seller either say out loud or under their breath when I'm asking the agent or the seller to remove stuff. They say, well, people still live here. I'm like, yeah, we get that, but nobody who's perceptively gonna buy your house wants to see your stuff. They want to see a blank canvas
Yes.
that they could imagine their stuff in. A good analogy I like to give people, if you want to take things on a smaller scale, with buying a home is probably the number one thing in your life that's going to be the most expensive thing that you buy, right? So you want to make sure it's going to look as good as possible. So let's say, take it on a smaller scale. Let's say you're selling your Vitamix. You have a Vitamix, it's a year old, and it still works great. You want to put it up on eBay. Are you going to take that Vitamix and photograph it right after you get done making breakfast and you didn't clean it out and there's stuff dripping all over it?
No.
And you take that picture and post it on eBay? Or are you going to clean it to where it looks brand new? And you think, well, I'm using it. Yeah, you're using it, but nobody wants to see your stuff in it. So that's sort of like, once you give that analogy, they kind of get it.
It kind of clicks. So make the house look as spotless as possible. Like you said, a blank canvas. So the other person who's potentially buying is going to look at it like, I can picture myself living here as well. All right, same thing we mentioned with the kitchen. We're going to do in the bathroom. What do you recommend in the bathroom that we take out?
Bathroom, the bathroom, let's take out, like, all the products, all the toothbrush, toothpaste, most of the things off the counter, and, believe it or not, the towels. Like, I butt heads with stagers all the time when they're in the house and I'm photographing it, because I'll tell the agent, okay, get rid of the towel and the stagers. Like, why? I think they look beautiful. Well, in person, they look good. But when you're taking a picture of a bathroom, sometimes the one and only angle that I can get, you're just going to see the side of the towel. So you're just going to see this big blurry thing on the left of the photo that you can't even make out what it is. It's the towel, and it just isn't looking good. Or if you have a bathroom that's like an all white bathroom and you have, like, these pink towels, you're just going to, like, totally distract you from the bathroom.
All right, so anything that's clutter or distracting, take out of the bathroom as well. And after we take everything out from the kitchen to bathroom, living room, dining room, we'll put everything back the way that we found them. All right, so we did those rooms. Now we're into the bedrooms. Same thing. If there's an area rug in any of the rooms, depending on the situation, what do you suggest?
Yeah, if you have, like, really nice wood floors, get rid of the area rug. You want to
Let's show them
show off
off.
the floor. A lot of the time there's an area rug on a floor. in order to reduce the noise of the room below it.
Yeah,
But for a photo, let's just get rid of that area rug. If you have like nice flooring, you just want to show off.
let's show that off. All right, so we did the bedroom. If there's an attic or basement, we'll take some photos there. Any suggestions for those other spaces?
Yeah, so the basement is like that's where you store all the stuff most of the time that you're not really using too often, unless the basement is like a finished basement that's like has a home theater in it and all that stuff. But more than likely, the basement gets a pass for being cluttered because where else are you going to pull those stuff in the house? You're going to put it in the basement. So if you know the photographer is coming, and you have a lot of stuff in the basement, just kind of neatly push it against the walls. If you have bins, put it in bins and stack the bins up. It'll, one, be easier just to slide out of the way, or if you can't slide it out of the way, it looks much better than just having loose stuff or toys floating around the basement.
All right, gotcha. Same thing with if you have animals, you don't want to have Fido's cage on this side and his treats on this side, his toys on this side. You want everything neatly packed up, put to the side, take a picture, and then we put everything back the way it was. Now that we're finished with everything, if there's any other features in the house, basically, what other services do you offer?
So I also do floor plans, and a lot of people request floor plans because it's a great alternate and additional tool to have outside of the photos. So essentially, after that, I would get done with the photos. I have a sketch pad with graph paper and a laser pointer, and I measure and draw the layout of the house, all the floors. And then it gets sent off, and then it gets processed and turns into a JPEG that's very simple to read. It's not like a blueprint where you need a degree to understand what it's saying. You have like big black lines, and it shows you the shapes of the rooms. And it's a great thing to have because you could go visit a house, and maybe you just didn't think of it at the time, like, oh, I really should have measured how big that master bedroom was because we have this king size bed with this huge backboard, and I don't know if it's going to fit there. So with a floor plan, you can bring the paper with you if the agent prints them out for an open house
Or emails.
and yeah, exactly. And you could you can kind of like measure your bed and say, oh yeah, I can go against this wall. Here's the door. Oh, there's the bathroom in there. This is how big the bathroom is. I can fit this. My kids' room, their bed will fit there. The bunk bed will fit there. So that's a great thing to have.
Well, the other thing is, especially when you have the blueprints, everything in life is constantly changing. So with your house, whatever your needs were 5 years ago is probably going to change in 5 more years, 10 more years, 15 more years. Your life is going to change. We don't all have the same TVs that we grew up with. So we have flat screens now. So there's always going to be the next thing. So whatever we have that space for, it's either going to be more compact and we're going to put less stuff in there, or we're going to put more stuff in there. But that being said, you have other stuff you do also?
Right. So I also offer aerial photography with the drone. I'm a licensed drone pilot.
It's important to have your license for stuff like that. You can't just take out a drone and fly it around.
Right. Like anyone could fly a drone, but to do it commercially, you actually need a pilot's license, and I have insurance. If I'm flying the drone and I lose control and it crashes through your window and causes all this damage, I'm insured. So
but that's never happened, so we don't have to worry about that.
Right. It's never happened, thank God. So
knock on wood.
But just in case.
All right. So anyway, so you got the drone, you're flying it around. Now, you don't do this for every house, obviously. What kind of houses do you normally do this for?
So I feel there are 3 reasons to do an aerial. One is if you have a really big property that ground photos just won't do the property justice. Like I've walked into backyards that are, tremendous, like about an acre, and like you go take a photo and it doesn't look like anything. It looks like just a field of grass, and you can't get any idea of how big it is. So an aerial, you can look straight down and you can see how big the property is. And a lot of the time when I'm editing the photo, I'll draw lines around what the property is. Another reason is if you're near some kind of point of interest, a landmark. If you have a canal in the back of your house, or a block from the beach, or on the beach, or a lake, or something. So that's another reason. A third reason is if your house may not be all that big, but you're near something that you can't see from the ground photos. Like I did an aerial once of one of the smaller houses they've ever photographed, but they wanted an aerial because there was this really nice park 2 blocks away. Okay. So you could see where the house is and you could see where the park is from a lot of different
so you get the general idea where everything's located from that point.
And yeah, and exactly. And you might be thinking, well, I could just go to Google Maps and see that. Well, that's true. But the difference is the Google Map photo is a photo staring straight directly down.
Yeah.
A drone is on an angle. So you can see in a totally different perspective what you could in Google Maps, and everything looks much more appealing than just like a straight down photo.
All right. So you gave us a lot of information, and obviously there's a lot more services that you offer as well. But these are all options. People can choose basically just to do straight out photos, and they can do the other stuff if they want to, but everything adds up after a certain point. But if they were interested in using your services, obviously they would contact me, get me right here, and this gentleman right here, hire us to sell your house. And then once we get everything written up, we make the appointment with Steve. And obviously when we make the appointment with Steve to get the photography done, we're going to let the seller know in advance. All right, we have the appointment for, let's say, Friday. Today's Tuesday, Monday. So you have enough notice to get everything that needs to be cleaned up in the house. And usually one of us will contact you or go to the house physically and tell you, all right, you need to move certain things here and here just to make it look the best they can look. And obviously we'll get there early. If our appointment's at 10 o'clock, we'll get there a little early. Enough time, we'll let you know, and then we'll get there early, move stuff if we need to move stuff, and put everything back the way we found it. And after the photography is done, how long does it take to get the photography back?
Usually like maximum with me about a day.
All right.
More often than not, it's might be before that, but about a day, to edit and then send it to you to approve if there's anything needs to be adjusted, and then then they're ready to go.
All right. So once we have the photography with the approval of the homeowners, we put everything online, put them on the whatever material that we're going to put out for the public so they can see, and we get the house. The house is already listed. We got the photography, and now we're broadcasting it to everybody else, and we get a couple of buyers to put offers on your house and take it to the next step. Thanks for watching. Have any questions about buying, selling, or investing in real estate? Give us a call.